Hello, and welcome back to the Handy Outdoorsman. Today I want to talk to you about what I carry in my tracking bag. Now some may call this a gut bag, a skinning bag, a field dressing kit, but it's basically everything that I need to recover a deer once I've shot one. Now this concept or this idea came together when my son was 12 years old. He put together a kit that we used for many years of all the basic necessities that he thought that we would need to do such that to recover a deer. And we've been able to refine it to what it is today based upon his concept. So he's the inspiration behind this. Now it's a simple kit. It cost about $40 to put together. But that depends upon the quality of the items you put in and the number of items that you put in. Now that $40 does not include your knife. I highly recommend that you get a good quality knife that holds an edge, that's comfortable in your hand, and that price of the knife will depend upon what you purchase and of the individual. So the $40 is just everything but the knife. So let's go ahead and let me take everything out. Let me show you what's in the bag, and then let me show you how I use it. All right, let me go through this tracking bag and explain to you exactly what I have and how I use it. The fanny pack itself, like I said earlier, I used to carry a backpack to carry all of these items. However, I have since streamlined everything in here to just be exactly what I need, no extras, and so this fits my needs perfectly. So depending upon what you use and how many items you have, you'll have to size your bag accordingly. Well, let me go ahead and show you what's in here. The first item is tracking paper. Some of us may know it as good old-fashioned toilet paper. Now this toilet paper does two things. One, it allows me to mark where I'm able to find blood on the trail by tearing off pieces and then putting it on a branch or a twig to mark where I have blood. And I'm able to track the path of the deer from beginning to end, and also see where my last blood was when I'm trying to find the next spot of blood. Two, it allows me to find my way back out of the woods, especially at night, by just following the same paper trail that I put in going to find the deer. I'll put a link to a video where I demonstrated this on one of my hunts. The next item, it's actually new to my kit this year, and it's called a butt out, and it's by Hunter Specialties. This item here removes the entire anal cavity of the deer, and I've used it once, and I must say that it works very well. I was reluctant in buying any gizmo thing for hunting, but after several friends recommended this to me, I had to at least try it, and I would say that it's well worth the $9.50 investment. Okay. The next item, is we have some Band-Aids. Now that's kind of self-explanatory, but because you're reaching in and using knives, and sometimes at night, there is a possibility of you cutting yourself while gutting the deer. Also, if you happen to break a broadhead off in the deer as you're gutting it, you may cut yourself. So it's always good to have Band-Aids on hand to seal any wound that you may get while gutting the deer. The next item is paper towels. Now I like to keep paper towels in the bag so that I can wipe off any dirt or feces if it should happen to get on the meat in the cleaning process. I want to keep my meat as clean as I can and keep it free of any debris and matter that's not healthy for you, so the paper towels come in well. If you use wipes or anything else, you're putting chemicals onto your meat, and you really don't want that. So just good old plain fashioned paper towels. The next item is a good knife. Now I happen to use a Gerber 650. That shows up here. And this has gutted every deer that I've ever harvested, as well as my son's. This is a good, sturdy knife. It fits in your hand well. It's not too big. It's perfect, and it holds an edge for a long time. So I highly recommend that you invest in a good knife. Now, as I said earlier, sometimes I have two of certain things. I have another knife. This is my backup knife. And the reason I recommend that you carry a backup knife is that I actually lost my Gerber once when I was field dressing a deer, turned it over to drain some blood. I was done and then went to go find it, and I couldn't find it at night. And I was thinking that if I ever lost a knife and I was in the middle of gutting a deer, I'd be in deep trouble. So I added a second knife just for backup. I was able to go out the next day during daylight and find the knife, but that's not going to always be the case that you're able to go back the next day in case you have to leave the grounds for something. So it's always good to have a second knife. So the next thing is rubber gloves. Now I prefer the elastic type that has some elasticity to it versus the loose food serving type. I like the ones that kind of grip my hand a little bit so that I can hold things solid without the glove itself slipping. So I prefer the kind that is a little snug to the hand. And for the gloves, I know some guys dress out a deer without a glove, but I always put on gloves when I'm field dressing a deer because one, it keeps my hands clean of blood and I can quickly remove them when I have to touch my own gear, and it's much safer that way as far as sanitary goes, just to keep everything clean. Not a big deal on that one. The next item is hand sanitizer. Now I like having hand sanitizer in my kit because, you know, once I am done dressing out the deer or in case I cut myself, I'm able to clean my wound and also clean my hands when I'm done. So a little hand sanitizer is perfect. Now there's also other videos that you can use hand sanitizer as a fire starter, so it's always good to have a little bit of that on hand because of the alcohol content in it. So that's another reason to keep it inside your kit. Another item that I like to have is wet wipes. Now the wet wipes I use to clean my knife and my gear when I'm done dressing out the deer. It's always best to try and keep things as clean as possible whenever you're gutting an animal, just because of the bacteria that's inside of them. You don't want to put that into your gear and then continue to spread the germs. So it's best to clean everything when you can. So wet wipes is perfect for that. The next thing I have is flashlights. Now I carry two different kinds of flashlights, and I'll explain why. The first one has a little hook in the back, and I'm able to angle that flashlight and have it so that I can put it on a branch and then angle the flashlight to help me see where I'm at dressing out the deer. The second one is to help me to get out of the woods in case my primary light fails. Now I always use a lantern when I'm tracking a deer. I think the light picks up the blood a lot better. But if that mantle should ever break, if I tip over the lantern and that mantle breaks, I'm hosed. So it's best to have another flashlight that I can pull out in the event that my primary light fails. The next thing is a plastic bag. Sometimes I keep the heart or the liver of a deer, and so I put those items into this plastic bag, and then I place that inside the cavity when I'm dragging the deer out of the woods. So it's nice and clean and keeps everything sanitary again. The next item is some paracord. Now with the paracord, I use that sometimes to tie the rear leg of the animal, or the deer, to a tree to help me to dress out it. If it's a big enough deer, keeping those legs spread apart to dress it out can be a little bit challenging. Just a little bit of rope tied to the rear leg, tied to a tree, makes out great assistance. And in a pinch, when you're pulling out your deer, you can also use this as a drag rope. The next item is a good quality compass. Earlier I said that, I use the tracking paper to mark a trail going in, and I use that same paper to find my way out. In the event, I get off track, or I know there's a shorter way to a road, I can always carry a compass with me to help confirm where I am before I start creating a new way back or getting off the trail that I know already. And the last item is a whistle. Most people today have a cell phone, and they use that as a form of communication while in the field. If you're in an area that does not have cell coverage, or your battery dies, you need a way to communicate with others. Rather, they are trying to find you, or vice versa. A whistle takes little effort, and you can be heard a long way off with the blow of a whistle. So there's not a lot more to it than just giving it a good hefty puff. And that's basically everything within my tracking bag. Okay. That's everything that I need to track a deer, to field dress it, and bring it back, as well as bring myself back safely. So that's what I have in my tracking bag. I'll have a link in the description to where you can purchase some of the items that I have in the kit, as well as a full detailed list of every item that's in the kit. And again, I'd like to emphasize that this is what I use. And the nice thing about this whole concept is that you can customize it however you want. You can add things, take away things, change things, so you can make it your own bag, unique to your hunting style. And I'm kind of curious to see if anyone else out there has a tracking bag, skinning bag, gutting bag, field dressing bag, whatever you want to call it, and what's in it. I like to hear what you do or what you use when you're recovering a deer. So leave a comment below and let me know if there's something else that's in your kit that I should be adding to mine. Again, you can customize this to however you want it to fit your needs. So that's it for now. I thank you for watching. I hope that I inspired you to go out and put together a tracking bag of your own. So until the next video, take care and God bless.